Hello, I'm Anita G with G Exclusive Realty Group, and I have a guest here today. He is legendary in real estate. He has been in real estate for 43 years. He has been a top one producer since the beginning of time. He is the one and only Frank Montro.
King of the South Side. My brand, baby.
So we're here. We're about to get started. We're going to give you some gems. He's sharing a lot of knowledge with you all and letting you know a lot about if you're looking into becoming an investor in the Chicago area or anywhere for that matter. Or if you're a real estate agent and you want to excel to the top, he is definitely the person who you want to hear from.
There's that, I will add this in. Success leaves clues. So I know Nita's going to have an ongoing deal like this, and you'll hear patterns of activities, of thought patterns that every successful person does. I make it a point to hang out with the top producers in the city because we all think the same way. And it's annoying to hang around people, for me, with my high D personality, with someone that's average thinking that wants to dumb me down. That ain't happening on my watch. So.
Okay, so with that said, we are about to get started. I have a lot of great questions.
I brought my notepad with me too, so I got all my notes. You can hear the whole story and nothing but the truth.
And you need to take your notepad out as well.
That's right.
Take some notes from the best. Okay, so the first question I would like to ask is, how did you get started in real estate, and what inspired you to choose this career path?
Well, I didn't start in real estate, so I started in accounting. So I saw what, I was really good with numbers and with science. And so I was debating either becoming a doctor or becoming an accountant because I was really good in those areas. And I don't know, just being a doctor just didn't turn me on. And I like numbers. And so I'm looking and seeing what these, back in the day, back in the prehistoric days before y'all were born, that I went to school. I became an accountant. I worked for a big eight accounting firm, Arthur Anderson. At the time, they called us the Big Eights. So there was the top eight of firms in the world. I interviewed with all of them. I got jobs offers from all of them. I chose Arthur Anderson, which was arguably the number one firm in the world at the time. So I went there, and I was very successful. I was there for 3.5 years. They loved me. I didn't like the job. So I felt like, I just felt like there was a hole in my heart. I just felt like there's got to be something more to this life than just crunching numbers. I just wasn't fulfilled. And I remember when Anita, when I came home, and I to my apartment at the time, and I called my parents up and I said, "Hey, Dad, I can't do this anymore. I just can't do it anymore. Pays great. They love me." And so when I went in and gave my 2-week notice, they're like, "Do you want to transfer? Where are you going?" I'm going up to Chicago. I finally found something that I thought I'm going to enjoy doing this. And what I realized was that I made the golden rule, the mistake, and I encourage everyone today: don't do this. Don't go to work for money only, because you're going to have to spend 8 hours, maybe longer, every day. And if you get into a job that you hate, the majority of your life, your waking hours, you're going to be miserable. Mm-hmm. And I'm great with numbers, and I'm great with the whole accounting thing. I just can't be locked up in a room for 8 hours. Or actually, with these firms, during the quarter, when we have to do the quarter reports, it's a lot longer than 8 hours. And we have to get in at 7 and leave at 11. I mean, they took care of us. They fed us. I mean, they were all the high-end restaurants. And I was working in Houston, Texas. They would, "What do you guys want for dinner tonight?" We're going to Nick's Fish Market. We're going to this steak restaurant. So they would bring it. I mean, I was living like a king. And we were sipping on Heinekens, and they had. I mean, it was amazing. We felt like we were living like kings. I mean, I was just young, in my early 20s, and they're treating us like gold, but I was empty inside. Okay. And I thought to myself, I said, "Dad, I just can't live like this. I'm not. I refuse to live a life of misery." And so, when I went around and looked for different jobs, contacted all my college roommates. I'm like, I need to work with people. I need to be in front of people. I need to help people. And I wasn't getting that gene fed when I did accounting only. So when I got out, I started working. I instantly loved it.
Okay.
Now the interesting thing was, I took a DIS test years later, and I got matched up with the job. You know, they give you 1 to 50. 1 I'd be really good at. 50 I would be not so good at. You know, I'm not wired. I'm not built. Everybody's built differently. So you have to find out what your personality type is and find out what lane you belong in life. And once you find that out, you will excel. I mean, people ask me, how do you work so hard? I'm like, this isn't work, man. This is my passion.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Yes.
so listen up. I encourage everyone, and I do this with agents. I've done this with my sons. I've done this with my wife. I've done this with everybody that I'm in touch with. You have to have a DIS test, because when I took the DIS test, the advanced version, and they told me that, my number 1 was a team leader, sales, all this stuff, and number 48 out of 50 was accounting. I'm like, son of a, if I only knew.
Okay.
If I freaking only knew. And so here I now I understand. It was a valuable lesson. Now I understand that everybody was designed by God to do something special in this world. And if you don't get in the right lane, and if you don't run in the right lane, you will epically fail in life. You will be miserable, or you'll be unhappy. And I feel sorry for people that just have never experienced it. I was fortunate enough to quit a very, very good job that I was very good at, but I was very unhappy at it.
Okay.
And I was fortunate enough to say, I'm just not going to do this for the rest of my life. I'm not going to be miserable 8 to 12 hours a day. And best move I made. So, so then I found real estate, and I fell in love with it.
Okay.
And so now it's my passion. Now helping people, doing the activities is my passion. I can't wait. I mean, I get up 4:30 every morning, and I've always have ever since I was in high school, because my dad is my hero. So my dad was my hero, so I just did what he told me. I did what I followed him, man. He got up at 4:30 to go to work. He was in middle management for Pratt & Whitney Airlines. They tested turbine engines. So I got up at 4:30 in the morning. I'm like, well, we didn't have video games back then, so what do I do? So I started studying. I started getting straight A's, hundreds on like everything I took. I just expected to get 100, even in calculus and I just expected to get hundreds on exams, and so I wasn't necessarily. I didn't necessarily have the highest IQ, although my grades would, you think. I just outworked everybody.
Okay. So your passion. So you had a passion for real estate, and that's what led you to this field.
I had a passion to help people. So I can do, I can go into any business now. Now that I found my lane, which is helping people. Real estate is a one vehicle of doing that. I can go into other jobs. If I were to retire out of real estate, I wouldn't stop working. I'd have to find something else. I got to help people. I cannot shut that switch off, man. People ask me, when am I going to retire? I'm like, well, why don't you ask me when I'm going to quit golf?
Right.
I'll quit golf before I play quit real estate. I mean, real estate brings me alive.
Yes.
My wife told me back in 2002, I was in position like, hey, let's just retire. And then my wife said, after a week of her preparing everything, she goes, you know what? I thought about it. If you retire, you'll be dead in a year. Like,
oh, wow.
Yeah. How much time do we have, by the way? I don't want to.
Well, I'm gonna get right into it. I have a lot of questions.
All right.
For you.
So I don't want. I can go on and on and on.
So I've been in real estate. I don't want to say how long, but I've been in it for a while. And you were always the man. Before we had social media and Facebook and all this technology and these social platforms, your name was word of mouth, and you were the man always. Like Frank Montro, and Frank. He had all the rehabs, you just really dominated real estate. So I admire you, and I also am glad I'm able to be your friend and interview you. So Here's another question people would like to know. How many homes do you sell annually?
So it's between 300 and 450 off and on market. Depends on when the market shifts, and there's down years. We'll be a little bit over 300. This year we're gonna probably, with the fourth quarter being the worst
Yes.
in the history of my 43-year career because of what the government did. It's going to affect my numbers this year. So we'll land somewhere in the low to mid threes, but we're vastly improving.
Okay.
With the markets, when the markets nosedive, everybody's affected.
Yes.
But we still do a ton of volume.
Okay. What's your secret sauce? Can you share strategies that helped you to become a top producer?
So let me get my. What number was that? Okay, so my secret sauce is number one is I lead with excessive value. So it's not. I don't lead with. Hey, I hear agents say I'm not going to show that house because it's only $150,000. So I'm only going to make X amount. I don't care if I make $500 on a transaction. If I'm helping somebody, that's what lights my fire. And the other thing I know is that if I help somebody, I only make $500, and they see that, they know that I'm not in it just for the money, and they're gonna be my best advocate. They're gonna tell other people, and then I'm gonna remind them, who loves you, baby, but not just Kojak, because that's out of your time. Yeah, so I get a lot of referral business because, even agents call me up like, hey, I got a problem. I got somebody with a 580 credit score. Who's the best lender today? Oh, hey, I heard you got free credit repair. Who do I go to get that free credit repair?
Yes.
So it's providing that value that drives people to. So my secret sauce is value. It is my brand. Everybody knows. And everybody loves the king of the South Side, baby. So that's where I got my roots. When I got in business, I started working. I started like trying to figure it out. Where am I going to go? And of course, the north side, north suburbs. That's where all the big dollars are. And I do north side stuff, but my focus is the South Side.
Okay.
And what happened was, when I was trying to figure the game out, figure out, hey, where do I belong? Because I realized I really want to specialize. And so one day, I was showing a house. I always choke up when I tell the story. And it was a small house, like at 92nd and Blackstone. And this couple came in, and they looked at and they had their friend with them. And they looked at the house. They're like, we decided we're going to have a small army. So this house is not going to, cut it. We want to just have a destination house. Let's go from a 2-bed to 5-bed. Then the single mom that's there, she looks like she's looking at the lotto ticket. She's looking around. I looked at her. I'm like, girl, is this your house? And she goes, man, I'd love to, but my lender down the street, and I won't mention any names, told me. Now, keep in mind, this was in 1985, so I've been in business for almost 2 years, and I'm thinking to myself, I got to figure this thing out and start specializing more. And so, I said, do you like me? Do you trust me? She goes, yeah. So I said, will you go with my lender? She goes, okay. So I got her the loan. It was really cool. She comes out of closing. And I'm in my car, and I see her look up, tears coming down her eyes. And she goes, thank you, God. And, that's when I realized I found my lane. I found where I belong, and I can help people. And there's a huge need. The South Side does not get the same education that the North Side does. So then I just realized I can be of excessive value on the South Side. So everything I do is designed around educating people how to buy a home, how to fix their credit, how to invest, how to become a flipper, a buy holder, the whole thing. And a lot of it is people, a lot of people, as long as they're willing to do it, I can get it done for them. It's, a lot of people are like, yeah, man, I want to be an investor. I want to make $1 million a year. And then I'm like, all right, let's go. I'm like, oh, you mean I got to do some work? Yeah, I thought you were just going to hand it to me, dude. No, you got to do the work, So the key is, it's like when I'll give you a perfect example. I remember when I don't normally do open houses, but I was doing, this was at this time, this was back like 1990 when I didn't have to do them anymore because I was just moving we had a different type of shift at the time in that market that year, and I wasn't doing them. And so, but I had other people do them for me.
Okay.
So I was started in 1990, started focusing on listings. And so I had somebody sit through a listing for me. And so I just did a pop-by. I just want to see if this agent's doing their job. And I had one of my lenders there. So this guy came and he goes, wow, man. He goes, man, I'm 55 years old. All three of my girls have houses. Man, this is amazing, man. I'm like, do you have a job? He goes, yeah, but he said, my credit's not that good. How much do you make? I'm like, you make enough money to buy this house. So I said, I got my loan officer here. He's got his laptop. He said, do you want him to run your credit? So he goes, sure. So he runs the credit. And loan officer goes, if he does what I tell him to do, 60 days, I'll get him a loan.
Okay.
I said, you game, bro? You want to do this? He goes, yeah. So, man, I tell you what, this guy is a trip. I still got his video. So he comes out of closing, man. He's like, he's sweating and stuff. He's like, man, I got him on video. He goes, this is no lie, no zero down. Montro ain't kidding. It was hilarious, man. I love that guy. Then I went over to drop off a gift, and I stopped in his house, and I'm like, damn, man, this guy's house is cleaner than mine, man. I bring my girl over here and see, maybe we can teach her a little something. But on a serious note, though, yeah, he was. That was just more strengthening. I belong here. Yeah. So the north side, sure. I'll take the big ticket deals, but the south side is where I really get my joy from.
Gotcha.
It's what really fuels me. Yeah, I remember when I came back too. When I come back from open houses, I go to my wife's always like, "What were you doing? Because you're very, very jacked up right now. Keep doing that."
Okay.
So I'm just being around people.
Yes.
So when I'm being around people and I can help them, man, it just energizes me. It's a endorphin rush.
It makes you feel good. And
yeah.
A lot of people working, like you said, are unhappy.
100%, man.
So you help a lot of home buyers. Even if they're not ready, you kind of have the resources. You do. It's not kind of. You have lots of resources, so that's adding value and helping people reach goals. Yeah. So that leads me to this question. It's a lot of people that want to invest. They want to leave the jobs that they're unhappy with.
Right.
And some people really have a passion for real estate and don't know how to get started. So what is your advice for new investors? What's the best advice for investors who's just getting started with limited resources? A lot of times people don't have liquid cash. How would you advise?
Call me. So yes. And the reason why I say that is if they come to me, then I'm going to look at their financial profile. So they may have some money. There are some hard money lenders out there that will lend to first-time newbies. I also do have private money, but I don't let private money is just my friends.
Okay.
And that they are not going to lend to somebody brand new, but they have to pay their dues. So so brand new people they can partner up with someone that has what they don't have.
Yes.
So if they don't have money, they can so then they have, but you have to bring value. You can't say, hey, man, can I just partner up with somebody and do nothing and get half the money? I'm like, no. Next question. So I said, but what you can do is, so you can start looking for properties. You can start driving in your neighborhoods and door knocking and talking to people. Talk to your friends, your family. Tell them, look, we're looking for distressed properties. I've got someone. If you come to me and I just say, look, you find properties, and I can cut a deal with. I got people right now that will JV with you at different rates. It could be depending on what you bring, anywhere from 30 to 50%.
That's joint venture. That's for the people that don't know, joint venture.
Yeah. JV is a joint venture. So in other words, you're going to participate in the profits. but you have to bring something. So
Right.
it's either a property, financing, or money. So if you don't have those three, then you ain't, you're not a fit. But if so, I mean, you can do. There's, if you're not on the MLS, there's a site called PropWire. So PropWire is they have a free and a paid site. You can go on a free site and download data and start calling that data. You can scrub it through True People Search, and you can do all this stuff for free. And you can, you can start chasing properties and, get scripts and like my team can help you with that. And you can find off-market properties, and then you can participate with a JV. Then you build your cash reserves, and then you go on your own. Gotcha. And then you become, and the process while you're JVing, you need to learn the entire process of from buying to rehabbing to reselling, and you're not going to, there's a saying, learning is doing. So, people are like, I got to read this book. I got to take this course. Right. I'm like, dude, just come with me. Right. I mean, because then I get people out there like, well, I don't know what I'm doing. I said, I thought you just told me you just paid for $30,000 for a course, man. What do you mean you don't know what I'm doing? Right. Yeah, well, this is different down here. I said, man, school's out. Right. School's out, son. I said, this ain't school, man. This is reality, man. This, I got, I've got people on my team that have had near perfect A averages in huge in great institutions like Northwestern. They come here and they're like completely lost. Okay. And I'm like, see, this ain't school, man. Yes. This is the school of hard knocks, man. This is learning by doing. This is failing your way to success. Yes. Speaking of that, I feel like failure is the best experience, the best teacher. Not, I won't even say failure, lessons, mistakes. Name a mistake you've made with real estate investing. Name a mistake I made with real estate investing? Have you ever ran into a situation where it just... Yeah, okay, so the biggest mistake, I think that, there's a couple of mistakes that investors make, but my biggest mistake was getting pump faked by a contractor. Okay. So he was like 2/3 of what everybody else was. So I didn't vet him properly. Okay. So that was another thing. So I didn't, look. So now when I have a new contractor come to me, I need to see their license. I need to see their insurance. I need to see a minimum of 3 projects. I need to see if they have a website, and I need to talk to 3 people. Okay. And guess what? If they give me 3 investors, I now have 3 new investors. If they don't work out, I'm like, bye-bye. I got 3 new investors. Yes. So, so I would say my biggest mistake, most costly mistake, was taking on a contractor that I didn't properly vet. Okay. So I've learned my lesson now. Yes. Very, very meticulous with every contractor I have is phenomenal. Okay. And majority of them have been with me for decades. Okay. I hear that a lot. Contractors running off with money and kind of discouraging. Oh, yeah. I can go on. I mean, don't ever give anybody like the full amount or even 40,000. We start off with 10,000 increments. And then we got to see that we got to go evaluate that the job is done, the 10,000 is spent, then we really... Once we get pictures and I get it back to the money people, we release the next draw and the next draw. We don't like to go more than 10,000, so that we can absorb that, but we're not going to be able to absorb 40,000. Yes. What are the most significant challenges you're facing in today's market? I know the interest rates were up for the last 2 years. That they're coming down some. Let me see. You're getting ahead of me. Let me, most what now? Okay. What are the most significant challenges? I'm good. So the most significant challenge right now is it's one thing. It's inventory. So there's hands down, inventory has shrunk for many reasons. Yes. One of the things is when the government artificially lowered the interest rate, but they were buying billions of dollars of mortgage-backed securities every month. So banks are like, well, if the government is guaranteeing my if the buyer defaults, then I can start lowering the interest rate from 7% to almost 2.75%. So what that did was now a lot of people that had got those rates or gotten to the 3s and 4 was now the rates normalized. They went back up to 6.5, 7, a little bit over 7. I mean, the historical average is 7.74%. Fannie Mae's historical 40-year average is 7.74%. When I got into the business in 1983, interest rates were 14.5. The year before, they were around 18, and I still crushed it.
Okay.
I still dominated the market. It's not just the interest rates, but in this scenario, these low interest rates are benching people. I mean, some of the cost of inflation and a lot of people, are working from home.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot of different moving parts for why inventory is down. So that is your biggest challenge right now. But
Yes.
I mean, we've got it. We've got to figure it out. So
That was some good information. I was going to ask, what was the highest interest rates you've ever seen? So
14.5.
now, what was the average price of a home back then?
So that is the key. See, what people don't understand, everybody goes, "Oh man, interest rates. What's your payment?" So it's and I'll tell you this. So like I remember showing somebody a house, and I'm writing the contract. They're like, whoa. They're like, "What's my interest rate?" I'm like, "Well, your payment is $1,450." I'm like, "Yeah, but what's my interest rate?" "Well, your payment is $1,450." And they go, "You're not going to tell me the interest rate." I said, I'll let the loan officer do that.
Right.
Can you afford the $1,450? I'm like, "Absolutely." The loan officer is going to go over the rates with you. So and the point is that the interest rates are not the only thing. Now the media will sensationalize that when the rates go up and they go up 7%. Oh my God, the market's crashing. No, it's not. It's not because the inventory is low. So it will never crash. And the market will never correct. I've been through 9 corrections. The market will never correct dramatically when inventory is low. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, houses were, and this is the point too. Why do you buy now? Because values go up. Houses like in New City that were trading for $35,000 are worth $250,000 today. So it's 40 years, and that was a very depressed area. But you can take in great areas, values are going to go up. I mean, values, in a shorter period of time, your values will go up 100, 200,000. So when people are waiting, I'm going to wait for the interest rate to go up, or to go down rather, and then that's negated when the property goes up $50,000. Now the house is more than what you're waiting. Now you're kicking yourself for now. You get in the game if you're going to buy a home and invest in a home, especially to build, generational wealth. You buy now. You don't, and you can the old cliche, marry the house, date the rate. Well, there's a lot of truth behind it because you can always change the rate. You can't change the price. Hey, I'm going to renegotiate the price. Too late. But you can change the rate, and you can change your payment and significantly drop it $100, $200 a month. Just when watching the rate and jumping in it when the market shifts. So buy. If you're out there, you're considering buying a home, buy it now. And what happens is you will build equity 2 ways. You're going to build equity by the houses going up. I mean, historically, houses go up 3 to 5% a year. They value up 3.5. Everything's hyper local though. You got to pay attention to the area. So when I talk to people, when they want to buy a house, I said, let's look at a trend in this particular. You want to buy an Oak Lawn? Let's look at Oak Lawn. Let's see what's happened over the years, and I can take them to the sites and show them the different trend. So you're that, and you're paying the mortgage down. So you got 2 directions. Mortgages are going down, and your values are going up.
Right.
You're building your equity is going up and up and up.
Yes.
And for the majority of people, especially on the South Side, their retirement package is their house. Okay. When it's paid off, and that's the other thing too. When you pay your mortgage off, guess what? Rents are still going up.
Yes.
But your principal and interest is gone.
Okay.
Now you're just paying your insurance and your taxes, which is going to be significantly less
Yes.
than your rent.
Yeah, correct. Okay. Next question for
Next.
you. What unique marketing tactics have helped you stand out from other agents?
So I would say first and foremost is my brand.
Okay.
I mean, people know that I am the king of the South Side. I do dominate on the South Side.
Yes.
People know. I mean, the other thing is the education process,
Okay.
is the knowledge process. Is I am obsessed with getting better. I'm obsessed with being number one. I want to know everything there is on credit repair. I want to know everything there is on every program. So when someone comes to me, I can point them in a direction of credit repair. I can point them in a direction of, we can get them no money down
Yes.
programs.
Yes.
We can get them money back at closing. I mean, it's insane.
Yes.
And we take our buyers too. So if a buyer says, hey, I want this one area, there's no inventory. We start canvassing that area. We start calling that area, and we approach sellers saying, hey, do you know how much your house is worth today? We can give you a free appraisal. We call them equity reports.
Yes.
So, then once they find out, I say, hey, your house, you bought it in 2019. Do you know that your house is worth $100,000 more because of the spike in the area? Do you think you can use that today? Can you put that to use? Is your house working out for you? Is it too big, too small? Do you want to
Right.
you want to downsize? Or so we just ask questions.
Okay.
We let them self-discover. So so I would say, yeah. What else we got here in my bag of tricks?
You said you love learning. So that brings me to this question. Do you believe in coaching even as a top producer?
Absolutely. So my coach got the award at Keller Williams for the #1 coach last year.
Okay.
So he's involved with a ton of top producers across the nation. So what I'm able to get is what they're doing. So what systems they're using, what's working in their markets, and not only is this guy incredibly knowledgeable, and the reason I like my coach is because I don't need someone to monitor my numbers and hold me accountable from that. I have my own accountability systems, but what he is great is he's a big thinker like I am. We're looking for where's the market moving? What's the next move? It's just like with right now, the next move for me is just keep expanding inventory resources. Figure out different systems in place, finding out where to go to get the properties.
Okay. Tips for new realtors. So, of course, you said coaching is great.
Okay, I wrote a bunch of things down here.
Some tips for people that want to get into this market.
Okay, so I would say tips for new agents. Let me go back. #1 is mindset. Where we running out of time?
No, we got plenty of time.
Okay, I would say first of all, join a company that has excellent training.
Yes.
So first and foremost, you need to learn how to think, and so on my team, join a team if you too.
Yes.
That's the quickest way is on my team. I'm not training agents.
Okay.
I'm not hiring. I'm hiring CEOs.
Okay.
So you are a CEO of your business. I run a business, and anybody on my team that's on my team, they are going to run a business or they're off the team.
Okay.
So I'm not looking for. So the one thing that they need to understand is, so another thing too is train your mind.
Okay.
Because this is a badass business, and this is not for the faint of heart. The problem is a lot of people come. I feel sorry for people who come in during the easy times.
Yes.
Because when they come in during the easy times, they get spoiled and they're contaminated with average.
Okay.
And like I had somebody tell me, "Oh, I came in at 2008." I said, "You got a gift," because that's when the market tanked.
Right.
Then you realize, you're in the middle of the ocean,
Yes.
and you don't have a life preserve, and you got to learn how to swim.
Yes.
And that is the best thing that can happen. These people that came in post-COVID, where there's just buyers are falling out of the sky, and there's cash buyers and everything.
Yes.
They're the ones And all they become are order takers.
Right.
Ding ding.
Right, right.
Table 3 up. I mean, they're
Right,
just all they do is just go and sign.
Absolutely.
They don't learn anything. They have zero value.
Right.
And now that the market has gone the other way, is
Right.
getting harder and harder.
Yes.
They're freaking out. They're, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do now.
Yes.
All this business is not here. I don't know how to do this. Oh my God, maybe I should leave. And so they haven't cultivated good habits. They haven't learned to run their real estate business like a CEO.
Okay.
So that is, incredibly important. And you need to learn scripts. So you need to be practicing scripts every day. The more you practice the scripts, the more they can become part of you. When they become part of you, it doesn't sound robotic. Hi, Mr. Johnson, would you like to sell you?
Yes.
You get on there and you're able to inject your personality, and then it becomes authentic. But you will not be authentic if you don't know what you're saying, because you're too busy reading off off a script and making sure you say the next right word. Whereas when you get scripts and you memorize them, then you start injecting your personality. Then the script is not exactly perfect,
right?
Because you're throwing your own language in, your own passion in, and it becomes real. And people can see through. People know if you're reading a script.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I have people call me up all the time. All these other, I'm like, so I'm just for kicks and giggles. I'm like, oh, this joker's just reading the script. So yeah. So let me see what else I got here. For crying out loud, stop this. Stop chasing shiny objects. Everybody's like, there's going to be a way. If I just buy this program, if I just take this one more class, I'm going to be a rock star. Now, dude, I said all the top people in the top. I'll quote Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban says, "I work." Now, this is a billionaire, not a millionaire, a billionaire. Says, "I work every day like someone is working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to take my business away from me." Does that sound like a lazy person or an average person? Mark Cuban is a grinder. All those people on Shark Tank are extreme workers. I mean, you look at Michael Jordan, you look at Kobe Bryant. I mean, can you imagine if somebody came up to them and said, "Hey, you're working too hard"? They would laugh you out of the room, man.
Yes.
And I've had plenty of people tell me that, and I'm like, look, pal, stay in your lane, okay?
Right.
You do you. You may not. You're not me. You're not wired like me. So why would you tell me to be like you?
Right.
I don't want to be like you. I want to be like me.
Yes.
I want to be like God. God has me designed to do a certain thing. I'm going to do me.
Yes.
And there's leaders in the world. There's followers.
Yes.
I'm a leader, so I got to do me. I gotta be a Spartan. I got to be 300. I got to put my war paint on every day. So I would tell them, get a disc test and find out who you are. And then there's.
I need to take one.
Let me take one. Let me tell you something else too that's critical. There's basically there's basically 3 types of people in this world. Now they're in the business world. There's overlaps, of course. So you're either blessed as a finder, a minder, or grinder. So you're one of the 3. So if you need to find out who you are. If you're a finder, then you're going to be a crappy minder. So you can go and get the business, but you can't hold on to it. And if you're a minder, you can't get business because you're not wired to go out and do that. You're not wired to network. You're not wired to get up, off the wall, move off the wall and talk to people. That's not your stick, and you don't enjoy it. And grinders are just people that that are behind the scenes. The admins and the people that make you go fast. So the thing I learned is early in my business career is that I'm a finder and I'm a beast.
Yes.
I'm a weapon.
Yes, you are.
So, but I don't want to do minding. So I started doing mine. I'm like, man, I hate this. So I partnered up with somebody.
Okay.
And he was the ultimate minder.
Okay.
Just made everybody love him. Not everybody loved me so much because I'm very direct. And I'll tell you, don't ask me because I'm going to tell you. I will give you that. My attorney, I meet with my attorney once a week, and he says, I have a meet up with him and the vice president of Chicago Title, and we cover a lot of topics from on business from what, our future projections, what we see, what we read. And, and I've called out, called them out a couple times with their BS answers. And I, like my attorney said, he's a great guy. I mean, he's freaking phenomenal. I mean, Gary Davidson is a monster, man, in this business. I mean, he's.
How do people join your team? You mentioned your team. How do they give them the information?
So that, they reach out to me. You can call me at 708-307-0777. Then we meet up and we have for coffee. I have a conversation. I want to feel you out, sniff you out, see if you have, the same value system that I have. If you don't want to work, if you're coming and say, hey, I don't want to work hard. I just want to, I got part-time agents that do full-time production.
Yes.
So that is completely possible. You don't have to be a full-time agent to crush it in this business, but there are certain laws that you have to follow.
Yes.
And if you're not willing to follow those laws, so I start off at a meeting, and then if I like you, then I send you a disc test. So we take a disc test.
Okay.
Then I review the disc test, and then we come back and I'm like, well, what do you see yourself doing? Oh, everybody wants to work with investors.
Right.
Everybody wants to be an investor. And I'm like, according to this disc test, you're not wired that way.
Got you.
You're wired to work with buyers.
Right.
You're high personality, and you're better off in that space, and you're going to be happier in that space. I made them, and I learned. I made the mistake of hiring the wrong people to sit in hiring the people to sit in the wrong chairs.
Got you.
And you know what? That's the worst. Let me just say something right now. That is the absolute worst thing you can do. If you go, if you were made, I mean, real estate has so many different moving parts. You could be a finder, you can be a minder, you can be high D, high I, high S, high C, combination DI, combination DSD. You can be any personality. And the beauty about real estate is there is a lane for every personality type. However, if you come in and you're attracted to money only, you will fail, or you will be miserable, or you're not gonna, when you're in the lane and you are in your lane that God designed you for, you will light it up.
Yes.
And if you're on my team, my education is a whole different. I think you've been at a couple of my spots,
Yes.
a couple of my meetups.
Yes.
It's not, it's not for the faint of heart, and you're going to learn stuff that you won't learn anywhere else. Because I'm connected with all the top people in the industry, and I have some pretty powerful people come in, just on a Wednesday afternoon from my meetings.
Yes.
And I vigorously pursue improving myself. I have to improve, and so everybody that's in the business to be a CEO has to improve themselves. You have to work on yourself. Have to keep getting better every day. Every day, if you get a little bit better every day. Imagine if every agent got 1% better. How much better people would be served. How much better clients would be served. I mean, it's not rocket science, but it's hard because it requires consistency.
Okay.
The key is, are you willing to be consistent, and are you willing to show up? And these are foundational things. I mean, you need to be a hard worker. You need to be smart. You need to be able to know and understand the process of selling. And so that's those and you need to be humble too. I get people come on the team and they're like, I know everything, and they got the little snarl, and I don't want to do that. I'm not going to learn that.
Yes.
I'm like, well, that's necessary to be on my team. Well, I don't need that. I know everything. I'm like, I take classes all the time.
Right.
Like I'm like, one thing I always take is I take a class on appraisals all the time.
Okay.
You cannot beat me on appraisals. I am a monster at appraisal rebuttals and appraisals.
Yes.
I mean, everybody comes to me. Okay. Everybody on my team, all of my investors are like, hey, can you confirm this? And also, I have an appraiser on staff. So I will, if I have a problem with, and there's some areas where there's like this house sold for 240, this one sold for 290, this one sold for 180, and I'm not 100% sure, then I'll queue up him. So, but you've got to be, as a new agent, you have to be humble. You have to understand you have to do the work.
Yes.
So you have to do the grind. You have to, you have to build passive income too.
Yes.
Build a database and nurture it. Build it, feed it.
Okay.
And then, the other thing that's critical too is shadowing. So everybody that joins if you're going to join my team, you're going to shadow for a month. So you're going to be with somebody on a regular basis for a month. You're going to see how it's done. You can sit there and do the scripts, all you want, and you can do it, till you're blue in your face, and you can do it, and inject your personality.
Yes.
But until you get out there and you do it, that's when you really learn. Learning is doing. And I mean, I have my own set of scripts, and they're, they're battle tested, and there's, it's my whole thing. I mean, my whole thing is about creating value.
Yes.
So I'll just give you an example of just something different that I do. When I was showing houses, in the beginning, back in '83, I started shadowing, what were some top producers at the time, and they walked through a house, they're like living room, dining room, kitchen. I'm like, oh gosh, I'm glad he told me that was a my smart ass. I thought that was a bathroom. I was going to go relieve myself in a minute, So I mean, it's like, come on, dude. I mean, so then I thought to myself, no, there's got to be, I'm like, what am I selling here?
Right.
Lifestyle. I'm selling lifestyle. So when I brought a buyer in the house, I said, come on, guys, we're gonna go in and we're gonna do a lifestyle tour. And they're like, wait, what? I said, just follow the king of the South Side. I'm gonna show you what we're doing here. So I get into like the living room. I said, okay, here's the living room, right? Now show me how you're gonna live in there. And then they'll eliminate houses that they wouldn't have thought of. They're like, oh wow, my furniture is not going to fit in this room. Oh wow, my king size furniture is not going to fit in this bedroom, and we're not trading. That's a hand me down from our parents. We're not getting rid of that. Do you want to set a shop up in the basement? Then heck no,
Right.
we're not going down there for our master. So so we need a master bedroom at least 16 by 14.
Right.
So I'm going to eliminate all these other houses that we looked at, and I'm gonna go back and run a whole new list. And so that's providing excessive value.
Okay.
Order takers, what I call them order takers. They run a list of houses, they run them through, and they just hey pick something out.
Right.
They don't have. I'm an advisor. I'm helping you find your dream home. I'm not a realtor. I'm a CEO. I'm running a business. I'm advising you on your best, most perfect investments.
Yes. So adding the value, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to shift the questions
Okay.
to things that's happening right now in real estate,
Okay.
which is, you mentioned in 2000, when the crash happened, that was like 2008.
2008 was
Yeah.
a big correction, market correction.
Yes.
It was driven by the financial institutions.
So a lot of realtors left. I remember because I was in real estate then, but I remember a lot of people letting go of their license and a lot of even mortgage lenders letting go of their license.
Yeah.
So we have another something new in real estate that has changed. So now we have the new NAR. Everybody has been talking about the lawsuit. I even called Frank like, what do you think about this? Is it going to change real estate? So here's the question.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the recent changes in the real estate laws regarding buyers, and do you see this being challenging for realtors?
No.
Okay.
And so not anybody with any brains, but someone that is an order taker, any change is a life-threatening scenario for them.
Okay.
So look, I figured out a long time ago. I'm like, I'm not working for somebody unless I have a contract. Will you buy a car without a contract? I mean, would a company would a mortgage company give you a check without a contract? Nobody does.
Nope.
So I'm thinking, all along we had contracts signed, to buy a house, but and to list, with a seller, you list a house, you sign a contract.
Right.
So a long time ago, I'm like, I'm not working with this buyer, and I learned the hard way a couple of times where I'm working my butt off, and then I show them 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 houses, and then they go off to they found some other agent that that talks a better game or gives them false promises, and then they run off with them. So I started decades ago. I tell buyers, you need to sign a work agreement with me.
Okay.
I said, we're in there like, oh, what do I need to sign that because we're partners. Yeah, I said you sign when you bought your car, did you sign a contract? When you did all these other things, did you sign a contract? Yes. When you buy something at a store, do you sign a receipt? So this is what we do. This is protocol. So I've been getting there's no change. My team has been getting buyers agreements signed for now. The agreements have changed, and so you got to do a commission, some kind of a commission form. If there's a zero, you got to tell the buyer. Some sellers may be going with zero commission, and we don't really see that, but that often.
Right.
I've got one, but here's how I manhandle, and this is going to be what. So look, this is a new thing. So it's going to be tested.
Yes.
But when the dust settles, it's going to go back to the old way. And as far as everybody's going to, especially on the South Side, where it becomes a conversation. First of all, people on the South Side cannot afford to pay anymore. They already have, we already have no money down programs, seller paying closing costs. I mean, a lot of people are getting in with zero down. So those people, if I tell them you got to come up with 3% toward commission, like I don't have it.
Right.
So what I'm telling my sellers if they start questioning it, I'm like, okay, so you want to go with 0% commission? Be negotiable.
Right.
Let me tell them be negotiable based on the offer. So don't tell them zero because here's the problem: if you go zero and everybody else in the area is offering a commission, which is basically what's happening. Your property's going to sit long, especially for an investor. Your property's going to sit longer, and if you're paying $3,000 a month on carrying charges, you're going to eat your profits up before you find a buyer that's willing to pay. Or there has to be like zero inventory in the area, and you're the only house, and then they'll figure it out. But I'm already getting buyers call me up saying, "Hey." Buyer's agents, do you offer a commission? Because if you don't, my agent does not have the money to. My agent said they will not look at your house.
Right.
So I already have agents call. So it's not going to last. Okay. So we're going through the transition period and the figuring out period. Now in a high end luxury market where you're dealing with millionaires and billionaires and sports people that have no concept of money.
Right.
If they got to come up with hey, you got to pay me an extra $100,000. No problem.
Right.
Extra $200,000. No problem. So it's just play money to them.
Yes.
You mentioned Michael Jordan. If hey, you got to pay me $300,000. Okay, here you go. You just right. That's I guess I won't gamble this weekend. But. It's a non-issue. Yeah. So I see market shifts all the time. This is the least cumbrous. The biggest annoyance, and I've turned it around to be a plus, is that agents. So I normally carry over 100 listings at any given time. So the biggest problem is that, if you want to call it a problem, but I always look at obstacles to opportunities.
Okay.
So I call it autopilot. OTO. So look, so I have more agents call me up every day. So I jump on the phone saying, "Hey, by the way, this is our commission. By the way, we buy distressed homes. So if you know of any distressed homes, call me because we'll pay you a commission. And if the seller won't pay you a commission, we'll pay you a finder's fee. We got to do it legally through your office and stuff." But and they're like, "Oh, okay." So I'm recruiting.
Yes.
I look at this. I look at this this obstacle as an opportunity to recruit agents to find properties for me.
Okay. And you do. I call Frank sometimes. Yes, you do. And it's just the ongoing snowball effect. Like
everything is fuel to make it go faster. There's nothing that slows me down. Every bad makes me go faster. I think, okay, so I have 2 deals fall apart. I'm going to fix them by the end of the day, or I'm going to find new buyers for them, and then I'm going to add 2. Okay. I'm going to just take it to another gear.
Okay. So, I know you really love people. However, tell us about a time when you had to fire a client and what led to that decision.
So I had this is early in my career, and this is when I reshaped my how I show houses. So I had a guy that, and I was on like the 34th or 5th house showing it. And it's like, nothing, I don't like this. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like this. And I'm like, there's no perfect house out there.
Right.
You know, you repaint the house.
Right.
You know, you've got the right room size. That's not doesn't work, you know.
Right.
So finally I said, hey, you know what? I'm not your guy because I showed you houses that fit your needs and your budget, and you're not moving on it. So
Right.
I'm going to recommend another agent for you.
Okay.
But you know that when those people that are time wasters, that are tire kickers, you know, I mean, I can use this because of my personality.
Yes.
But it's probably, you know, it doesn't work at every market. But I'm like, listen, let's say you're my buyer, Anita. I'm not a tour guide, but I can give you the number for the architectural tours downtown, and you can hire a tour guide there. Okay, so, but I don't do tours. I mean, I'm not a guide. You hire me as a financial analyst to help you invest in your future and to help you find the perfect home for you and your family. Now, it's not, you know, there's no law saying that you have to look at 40 houses. And,
Right.
you know, and a lot of times the first house may be the right house for you. And especially the way I run it, when I do a buyer's consultation and I find out everything you want and everything you, everything you wish for and everything you need. And I find, you know, the first 5 showings are going to be the best of the market. And if we continue looking at 10, 15, 20, 30, then those 5 will be gone.
Right.
And then you're going to say, well, why don't you convince me to? And so I learned my lesson that way is to put my foot down, and I'm not going to show a gazillion houses. I'm not there. There's no rule saying you have to look at 40 houses. You're hiring me to find the perfect house for you, and many times it's the first house I show you.
Okay. I agree. So you piggying back, you told me about a lesson you learned with doing flips by vetting the contractors. What's a difficult lesson you've learned from experience in your real estate journey? So not necessarily dealing with investments, but just
I would probably say is follow up. Is, you know, a lot of times, you know, it's kind of a two-edged sword. So I'm always busy. I always work hard, and so busy doesn't mean successful. It's doing the highest, most important, highest ROI, return on investment. In other words, the most important work thing that will make you generate business and income. Doing that and not the lowest. So learning the difference between high ROI and low ROI. A lot of agents end up they're very busy,
Yes.
and they never make any money because they're not doing they're not doing the work
Yes.
that generates business.
Yes.
And then the other thing, the critical thing is speed the lead. So you get a lead, you need to contact them immediately.
Yes.
And if you have five people that you need to call back today, and you never call them back, they want to do business with you, odds are that at least one is going to be gone the next day. And so that's a paycheck that I lost. And so I've done it a lot of times over my career because I get busy and I'm like, I'll call them tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, that's like the kiss of death. So now what I do now is I create a to-do list in the morning.
Okay.
And I have my top 10, and those are non-negotiable. Mm-hmm. Those I will not stop until those 10 are done.
Gotcha.
And the other thing that's critical, don't just do a top 10 list. Mm-hmm. Put it in your schedule. Once you get your top 10, okay, this person is, I'm going to give myself to 9 o'clock in the morning to get this done. This one has to be done by 10. This one, you know, so I set time. You got to put it in your calendar, and the calendar acts as a time limit.
Okay.
You got to call, you know, I got to make sure this is done. And then it gets done. And then if you stick with your schedule and you stay focused on doing your schedule activities, you will be wildly successful, way more successful than just randomly wandering through the wilderness. You know, it's like run your business like a CEO.
Got it. What keeps you motivated in a competitive industry? I know you're self-motivated, but what else motivates you?
My Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I every morning I wake up, I'm grateful that God has given me another day. I'm grateful for the gift of life. I'm grateful for my family, for my sons, for my wife. I'm grateful for everything that I have. I'm grateful for my clients. I mean, I stay in gratitude. I stay in gratitude, and and helping people. Just I mean, the other thing is is mindset. I mean, I wrote down a list of. I can run through that if I have time.
Okay.
It's just some thought. It's not every thought, but I pulled like
is important. Motivation.
So so every morning, now too. I mean, every morning I go to the gym, and then I come back, and then I do my meditations and my affirmations. So these are this is not everything.
Okay.
But these are like I'd say my top the things that will definitely change your life if you think about them and implement them and think about them all day long. This is not a one thing. That's the other problem with affirmations and meditations. People do it in the morning, then they forget all about it. Then you get busy, you get distracted.
Yes.
So number one is be intentional.
Okay.
So number one is I take charge of my day. I take charge of my feelings. I take charge of my thoughts. God gave me that responsibility. I'm not going to play victim. I'm not going to, hey, if this happens, that happens, I'm going to have a good day. Now, look, I'm predetermined to have a good day. Something comes my way. I am the real estate market. I am my market. I create my market. I hunt. I get business. And I don't need the interest rates to be at a certain place. I don't need the inventory to be at a certain place. I will go find it. I will go create it.
Yes.
That's so being intentional when I start every day. What do I need to create? What do I need to get done? Who do I need to talk to? Being intentional and having a system in place to get it done is vital to running a business like a CEO. Number two is discipline. Hey, you know what? Either you gotta, I tell myself, listen, if it's the consistency, I'm doing today, and I'm only focused on today, not yesterday, not in the future. I'm focused on it right here, right now. If I can stay in the moment and focus in the moment, throughout the day, and get the least amount of distractions and do the highest ROI work, I run a successful business, and I will be successful. So staying in the moment, focusing on doing the highest ROI activity in that moment takes work. So it's not only doing the activities, but it's creating that mindset. And so I have alerts on my phone. So I like every couple hours alert, ROI, discipline. I have all these different words. I'll put in different words, just to round robin them. And so it's like I'm constantly feeding my mind. So these thoughts, this is pantomime. Look, creating a sense of urgency. So I create my reality. My reality is not I'm a victim. My reality is not I'm a title. My reality is if I do not work every day consistently, I will have zero money and my kids won't eat. Now that gets me out of my chair, and all my business will be taken away from other agents that are working hard. That gets me breathing fire. So how do I stay motivated? Is I feed myself with thoughts like this, and then I remind myself, distractions are my biggest self-sabotage. But by me allowing myself to be distracted, I'm self-sabotaging my success. When I subscribe to fear, I'm serving Satan. Well, I'm saying, okay, Satan, I'm yours. I'm going to be afraid to do this. Hey, Satan, I'm angry. I'm going to kick this guy's ass. All right. Hey, I'm on your team right now. I mean, that's what's going on. So when you know, that's what I tell my team. When you're playing the space, you're serving Satan. How does that make you feel? Not good. Nobody wants to serve Satan.
No.
You know? So nobody,
No.
So when you put it that way, okay, maybe I won't be afraid. I'll go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
And learning is doing. So when you get, you know, it's funny, like when you're calling strangers, it's not when you get past first base, it's fine. But it's that initial fear of like, you know, your mind is protecting you by, and it's releasing these crazy thoughts. You know, you're a loser. You can't do this. You're gonna get people are gonna yell at you. You know, what's the worst thing that happens? Somebody yells at me.
Right.
You know, I mean, why did they yell at me? Because that's their problem.
Right.
I mean, you know, they hang up on me. Okay, maybe they've had one too many people calling them for sales stuff. No problem. I mean, I get it. The other thing is, I mentioned earlier, is fuel. So everything, anything and everything, I preset my mind for positivity.
Okay.
I'm nothing on the outside controls me. Nothing is going to ruin my day. Anything happens, it happens for a reason. Excuse me, it happens for a reason. I got to figure out why it happened.
Yes.
And how I can make it best out. These changes, obstacles to opportunities. When an obstacle comes to me, where's my opportunities? I'm looking around, and you know, dominate, dude. I don't play, man. You know how I do, man.
Yes.
I am gonna go in there. I'm gonna get mine, man. I'm gonna get mine. I'm gonna get mine for my family.
Yes.
We play to win.
Yes.
I am Michael Jordan when I get on the court, man. I'm not, you know, people are like, oh, you're so mean and stuff. I said, listen, I'm working for my clients. I'm not working for you. You know, you know, your feelings are not part of the equation here.
Right.
It's if your feelings collide with, now, if your feelings are in concert with my objectives for my client, fine. But if you want me to do something to hurt my client, you know, I'm going to be mean in your eyes. You know, so one of the biggest things is a perseverance. So a lot of agents get in, and newer agents they think, oh wow, hey, you know, I've watched all this HGTV. I want to be one of these. And so they start working. They work for a week or 2 weeks, and they're like, oh, this isn't working out, man. So real estate is, to you new people out there, real estate is a long-term game. Most agents don't get up and running till six months of hard work, and then they start seeing a lot of deals coming. But until then, you're going to just pay your dues. And so what I've learned when I got into business, it was a lot different, girl. So we had a rotary phone. We didn't have these speed phones, speed dials. No. I had a pager. I had a bunch of quarters to use for the pay phone. The MLS was a book. It wasn't there's no computers, none of that stuff. So it was a lot more difficult. I had to look up the MLS. The MLS book came out once a month. It wasn't updated. So these properties could be long gone.
Right.
You know, and so I had to try to reach the listing agent.
Right.
Hope he's by a hard line, or hope he has a pager. Wait for him to call back and see if the property's available. Set the appointment up. You know, and then I don't even know if it's, you know, 2 weeks later it could be sold if I got another client that wants to see the house. So there's no, I mean, it was so much harder to work back then. So when I have somebody come up to me, tell me, hey, you know, this is a really hard job. I'm like, whoa. my first year, I came here from Houston, Texas. I left Arthur Anderson Oil and Gas Accounting, came up here, and I didn't know anybody. I knew one of my roommates, but he was my competitor. So I had to. All I could do was talk to strangers because all I had was strangers up here. So I made a commitment. I said, I'm going to see if this is what I'm made to do. So I worked 6 days a week, 9 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock at night, cold calling. That's all I did.
Okay.
Cold call. You know, no. And then I realized after a while, no means I'm closer to yes. No means not right now, but he's going to do something in the future. And so perseverance is critical. You need to set proper expectations. Agents come in and think, hey, this isn't a paycheck that you ain't going to get paid at the end of the week.
Nope.
You get paid when a deal closes.
Yep.
And sometimes they don't close. They fall apart at the closing table. So, you can't, these agents that go, hey, I got 4 deals in process, I'm going to slow down. Don't work that way. Because once those deals are closed, then you're back to square one.
Right.
So that's why you work your database and you work on generating repeat business, and you persevere. You just got to keep going. You got to keep being consistent. So all I do is just remind myself. And the last thing I was thinking of is focus, because there's so many freaking distractions. It is insane.
Yes,
how many
it is.
distractions there are during the day. Thousands of distractions during the day. I read all kinds of numbers. I saw one article I read that the average person gets over 4,000 distractions a day. I don't know where they come up, how they figure that out. You walk around, you like make a note every time you get distracted. I don't know how they, but I know it's a lot.
Yeah.
So, whatever it is, and a lot of times I allow myself to get distracted because, if I don't want to work, then I will think, okay, it's almost like I'm looking for a distraction. So I self-sabotage my day. So I got to watch out for that.
Yeah.
So that's why it's important that I preset my mind to win. Okay. So mindset is everything.
Yes.
Mindset, how do you remain consistent? How do you remain consistent as business? It's through mindset.
Yes.
And mindset controls your activities.
Yes, it does. So I'm going to try to wrap it up a little bit. I'll end it with this. Tell me something that I don't know about you or other people in general.
So, yeah, it's been a few years, but I was a scratch golfer, and I played a lot of competitive golf, and I've won tournaments in the past. I still have friends that are on the tour, the PGA Tour and Senior Tour. I've got some friends out of New York too, a couple of young girls that are killing the juniors that are killing it. They were just in town for a tournament. I was able to help them out, get them on a golf course. So I'm a big golfer, a big fanatic when it comes to golf.
Okay.
And I don't play as much these days, and especially with my knee right now the way it is. Until I get surgery, then I'm kind of benched right now. But I still play, and I'm not as good as I used to be, but I can still run with it. Okay. But yeah, I was back in the day. That was a lot of people look at me like you're that good, and then they see me play like, oh, okay.
Okay. That is something that a lot of us don't know. We have a few more minutes. If you ever want to contact me, I'm Anita G Exclusive Realty Group on Instagram, Anita G on Facebook, Anita G on Instagram, and I could be reached at 312-714-5188. I am a managing broker as well. Frank, what would you like to share?
So I would like to just challenge every new agent out there, since we're doing more of a new agent, is become an expert in your market.
Okay.
So become an expert of your systems, become an expert of the market. And I wrote down a few things of where you can go. Yeah, here we go. Okay. So go on to YouTube, and first thing you want to do is you want to become an expert in your specific markets. Okay. So you see all this information about the market, your rates are going, yes. The values are going up, but some markets they don't go up, and so knowing your market is critical. Okay. So I have another this one guy that always sends me articles, but they're national. The national numbers are good, but it doesn't affect if I tell someone hey, this national values are going up and your market is adjusting. Like there's an area right now east of Beverly, Washington Heights, that's adjusting down because it spiked up post-COVID, it's too high. So now it's going back down, and it's normalizing. And then you got to go into Beverly, and Beverly's still going up. So they're neighbors. So understand, become an expert hyper locally. Don't just go by your by the national averages. I would say as well, become an expert at your craft. Always learn your scripts, learn how to close a deal, learn how to sell. Selling is not telling. Selling is asking questions to get a desired result. When I have a client in negotiations and they're not willing to do, which I think would be the right thing to do, I'll give you an example. What I will do is I'll give a question of consequence. So if we don't take this deal today and the next deal comes along after the holidays and you're going to spend $3,000 a month for the next 6 months, that's $18,000. And time out market that you're going to lose. You can take that money and flip it to another house. I said, what would it feel like? How would you feel if you got rid of this deal only to save $3,000, and it's going to cost you $18,000 plus the possibility of reflipping that money and getting like another $40,000? So, do you see the difference? Do you see the what you're doing here with your money, and does it make sense to do what you do, and how would you feel? So you want to get them into an emotional state too. So you hit them with the facts first, and then I'm gonna, because selling is all about people base their decisions on emotions. I mean, you can give them the facts first, but then you got to close it off with emotions. So new agents, you got to learn these stuff. You need to learn how to sell. I'm going to give you a great book to read too.
Okay.
It's called Exactly What to Say by Phil Jones.
Okay.
It's a simple read, and it's the essence of selling.
Okay.
And you need to read that. I've got everybody that joins my team. They have to read it every day. Read it every day for 30 days,
Okay.
and especially the questions in there, because they need to be part of you. So selling is not telling. Selling is asking questions, the right questions, to get a desired result.
Okay.
And so, yeah, you can reach me. I'm Frank Montro from Keller Williams Preferred Real Estate. You can reach me at 708-307-0777. If I don't pick up the phone, it's probably because I'm in a meeting or I'm talking to someone, and text me, because I can respond much faster through a text, not necessarily quickly, right away through a through a phone conversation. But I will have a phone conversation with you when I free up. But certainly, if you need immediate answer, feel free to call me or text me at 708-307-0777.
Thank you, Frank. I appreciate you
Thank
for
you, Anita.
sharing all your knowledge and just taking the time out to fit me in. Greatly appreciate it.
My buddy, no, glad to be a part of it. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes. Thank you, guys.